Hey there, friend. Welcome back. I'm so excited you're here today because we're talking about something that completely changed how I approach goals, growth, and success: the power of small wins. In a world that celebrates massive achievements, overnight success stories, and dramatic transformations, we've forgotten about the magic that happens in the small, seemingly insignificant moments. We've convinced ourselves that if it's not big, it doesn't count. But today, I want to show you why that tiny step you took yesterday matters more than you think, and why those small wins you're dismissing might actually be the foundation of everything you're trying to build. So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and let's talk about why tiny progress beats big dreams every single time. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you set a big, ambitious goal and then felt paralyzed by how far away it seemed? How many times have you started something with enthusiasm, only to quit a few weeks in because you weren't seeing dramatic results fast enough? How many times have you looked at where you are versus where you want to be and thought, what's the point? This tiny bit of progress doesn't even matter. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. We've been programmed to think that only big, measurable, impressive progress counts. But that's a lie that's keeping you stuck. Here's the truth that the self-help industry doesn't want you to know. Transformation doesn't happen in massive leaps. It happens in small, consistent, almost invisible steps. The problem is we're so focused on the destination that we completely miss the journey. We're so obsessed with the dramatic before and after that we ignore the daily during. But those small wins, the ones you think don't matter, the ones you brush off as not enough, those are actually where all the power lives. Today, I want to help you see that every tiny step forward is worth celebrating, and that small, consistent action will always beat sporadic bursts of motivation. Let me tell you about James. James had always wanted to write a novel. Always. For 20 years, he talked about it, dreamed about it, planned it in his head. But every time he sat down to actually write, he'd get overwhelmed. A novel is 80,000 words. That's massive. That's impossible. So James would write a few pages, get discouraged that he wasn't halfway done yet, and quit. Then 6 months later, he'd try again with the same result. The dream stayed a dream because the goal felt too big, too far away, too impossible to reach in any meaningful time frame. James was stuck in what I call the all-or-nothing trap. If he couldn't write for 2 hours and produce 10 pages, then what was the point of writing at all? If he couldn't see major progress immediately, then those 15 minutes he spent writing didn't count. He dismissed hundreds of small writing sessions over the years because they didn't feel significant enough. And in doing so, he'd sabotaged himself repeatedly. Imagine you're looking at a massive staircase that goes up so high you can't even see the top. It's intimidating. It's exhausting just looking at it. Now, if you stand at the bottom staring at the top, you'll never move. You'll convince yourself it's too far, too hard, too much. But what if you just looked at the next step? Just one step. Not the whole staircase, just the step right in front of you. That step is manageable. That step is doable. And here's the magic. If you take that one step and then the next one and then the next one, eventually you look back and realize you've climbed halfway up that impossible staircase. You didn't climb it all at once. You climbed it one tiny step at a time. That's the power of small wins. So why don't we celebrate small wins? Why do we dismiss tiny progress as not enough? I've identified 5 reasons we undervalue small wins, and understanding them will help you start honoring your progress, no matter how small. Reason 1. We're addicted to instant gratification. We live in a world of same-day delivery, instant streaming, and immediate results. We've lost the ability to appreciate slow, steady progress. We want the transformation now, and when we don't get it, we think nothing's working. But meaningful change takes time. Small wins compound over time into massive transformation. Reason 2. We compare our daily reality to others' highlight reels. We see someone's finished novel, their completed marathon, their thriving business, and we compare that to our day 3. We don't see their years of small daily actions. We don't see the thousands of tiny wins that led to that big achievement, so our small progress feels insignificant by comparison. Reason 3. Our brains are wired to notice what's wrong, not what's right. It's called negativity bias. Your brain is designed to spot threats and problems, not progress and wins. So you'll naturally focus on what you didn't do, what you should have done better, where you fell short, instead of celebrating what you actually accomplished. You have to consciously train yourself to notice wins. Reason 4, we've bought into the hustle culture lie. We think that if we're not exhausted, if we're not grinding, if we're not sacrificing everything, then we're not working hard enough. Small, sustainable actions feel too easy, too gentle, too insignificant. But sustainable always beats burnout. Consistency always beats intensity. Reason 5, we don't have a system for tracking small wins. What gets measured gets managed. If you're not actively tracking your small wins, you literally can't see your progress. All you see is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. But when you track small wins, you create visible evidence of your progress, and that evidence fuels motivation to keep going. Alright, so how do we start recognizing, celebrating, and leveraging the power of small wins? How do we shift from dismissing tiny progress to building on it? Here are 6 strategies that will help you harness the power of small wins in your life. Strategy 1. Set minimum viable progress goals. Instead of setting big, intimidating goals, ask yourself, what's the smallest action I can take today that moves me forward? Not the ideal action, not the impressive action, the minimum. Want to write a book? Your minimum viable progress is 1 sentence. Want to get fit? Your minimum is 1 push-up. Want to learn a language? Your minimum is 1 word. When you make progress so small it feels almost silly not to do it, you remove resistance and build momentum. Strategy 2. Create a wins journal. Every single day, write down 3 wins. They can be tiny. I drank water when I woke up. I sent that email I was avoiding. I took a 5-minute walk. At first, this will feel awkward because you've trained yourself not to notice small wins. But over time, your brain will start actively looking for wins throughout the day. And when you look back at weeks or months of wins, you'll see undeniable evidence of progress. Strategy 3. Use the 2-day rule. This changed everything for me. You're allowed to miss 1 day of your habit or goal. Life happens, but you're never allowed to miss 2 days in a row. Missing 1 day is a break. Missing 2 days is the beginning of a new pattern. This rule removes the all-or-nothing thinking. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to be consistent enough. Strategy 4. Celebrate immediately. When you complete a small win, celebrate it right away. Fist pump. Say yes out loud. Do a little dance. Text a friend. The celebration doesn't have to be big, but it has to happen. Why? Because your brain learns through reward. When you associate a small action with a positive feeling, your brain wants to repeat that action. You're literally rewiring your brain to crave progress. Strategy 5. Stack your small wins. This is habit stacking taken to the next level. After you complete 1 small win, immediately do another. Finished your morning coffee? Do 5 push-ups. Sent that work email? Write 1 sentence in your journal. Brushed your teeth? Read 1 page of a book. By stacking small wins, you create momentum chains that make progress feel effortless. Strategy 6. Reframe not enough as more than nothing. When your brain says this tiny action doesn't matter, counter it with, this is infinitely better than doing nothing. Wrote 1 sentence? That's 1 more sentence than you had yesterday. Walked for 10 minutes? That's 10 minutes healthier than sitting. Called 1 client? That's 1 more connection than you had before. Progress is progress, no matter how small. More than nothing always counts. So what happened with James? After years of starting and stopping, James tried something different. He committed to writing just 100 words per day. That's it. Not a chapter, not a page, just 100 words. Some days he wrote exactly 100 and stopped. Other days he'd get in a flow and write 500. But he never pressured himself to do more than 100. And here's what happened. In 1 year, James wrote 36,500 words. That's nearly half a novel. In 2 years, he had a complete first draft. The novel that felt impossible for 20 years? He finished it by making the goal so small it felt almost ridiculous. But here's the more important part. James didn't just finish a novel, he became a writer. Those daily 100 words changed his identity. He went from someone who wants to write to someone who writes. And that identity shift happened 1 small win at a time. James started tracking his wins. He celebrated hitting his 100-word minimum. He used the 2-day rule to stay consistent. And slowly, the small wins compounded into something he'd been dreaming about for 2 decades. Now I want you to think about something. What goal have you been putting off because it feels too big? What dream have you been dismissing because you can't see how to get from here to there? And here's the key question. What's the smallest possible action you could take today toward that goal? Not tomorrow. Not when you have more time or energy or resources. Today. Right now. What's the minimum viable progress you could make? Here's what I've learned about small wins. They're not just steps toward a goal. They're proof that you can change. Every single time you take a small action, even when you don't feel like it, even when it seems pointless, you're proving to yourself that you're capable. You're building evidence of your own reliability. You're creating momentum. You're becoming the person who does the thing, not just the person who wishes they did the thing. The world will tell you that small doesn't matter, that if it's not impressive, it's not worth doing, that if you're not seeing dramatic results immediately, you're wasting your time. But that's because the world profits from your sense of inadequacy. The world wants you to buy the next course, the next program, the next quick fix. But you know what actually works? Showing up, being consistent, taking tiny actions, celebrating small wins. That's it. That's the secret. It's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it works. So here's my challenge for you today. Identify one small win you can commit to. Just one, not 5, not 10. One small action that moves you towards something that matters to you, and commit to it for the next 7 days. Track it, celebrate it, protect it. Don't let it be not enough. Let it be exactly what it is, progress. Because 7 days of small wins is 100% more progress than 7 days of waiting for motivation to strike or for conditions to be perfect. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more time. You don't need the perfect plan. You need to take one small action and then another and then another. You need to stop dismissing your progress and start building on it. You need to stop waiting for the big breakthrough and start celebrating the tiny victories. Because those tiny victories, they add up to the life you're trying to create. My friend, you are making progress, even when it doesn't feel like it. Every small action you take is building towards something bigger. Every tiny win is training you to become the person you want to be. Don't dismiss your efforts just because they're not dramatic or impressive yet. Keep taking the small steps. Keep celebrating the small wins. Keep showing up, even in the smallest ways. Because small and consistent will always beat big and sporadic. Always. Thank you for being here with me today. If this resonated with you, hit that thumbs up button, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe for more honest conversations about real growth. Until next time, celebrate your small wins, trust the process, and remember, tiny progress is still progress, and progress is everything. You've got this.